At the break of dawn, in the middle of the Arizona desert, a crowd of strangers meet for one purpose.
You guys coming out here to help me out, I really appreciate that from the bottom of my heart.
To help another stranger, a father desperately searching for his 24-year-old son, Daniel Robinson.
Since he was a child, he liked to challenge everything.
He was born with a challenge.
And I wanted to introduce him to prosthetics because he's born one hand. We quickly learned that that's something that Daniel don't want. He let nothing stop him. He decided to be a geologist once he got into freshman year in college. He excelled that, he graduated with honors.
Daniel's first job is checking the viability of water wells in the Arizona desert.
He loved this area, of course, because of the rock formation. You're a geologist, this is the best place to be.
But the terrain became a hellscape for his dad when Daniel went missing back in June from his job site. And what number search is this?
This is search number 14.
Navigating the dangers in the desert, the Army veteran knows firsthand time is of the essence.
When I called the Buckeye Police Department, they told me that I had to wait actually 3 hours because they had a 12-hour, report time when you can say a person is missing. Then I called them back and put in a missing person report. I got very worried. That's when I got very worried. I asked the Buckeye Police Department to go out and search that area. The officer told me that they were going to send a vehicle out there, a helicopter out to search for him. I was relieved. And then he called back an hour later and said, no, it was a no-go. I'm his dad, and he's my son. I've lost all sense of reality. At that moment, I said, you know what? They're not going to look for my son. I'm going to have to do it myself.
Before he arrived, police did decide to search on foot and with helicopters. This is the last place your son was seen?
The last place.
What do you think happened, David?
I think a lot happened here. I'm very suspicious.
But he doesn't know what. A month in, there's a break in the case, and police call Robinson.
I got afraid, actually, that it's going to be some bad news. He said, no, we just found his vehicle.
Some ranchers found it, and then at that point, we conducted our investigation and additional searches.
What was the condition of the car? If it had rolled over, it sounds like it was pretty bad.
Yeah, the car was on its side. The sunroof was kicked out at that point, so he might have exited through the sunroof.
His wrecked car in a ravine, both airbags deployed, Daniel's cell phone, clothes he was wearing that day, and a case of water all found at the crash site. But not Daniel. People don't just disappear into thin air.
True.
Does that sort of feel like what's happened to here?
Yes. Yeah, it's very, very challenging case.
No matter how much the family asks for this to be a criminal investigation, can you make that happen?
We can't make up evidence. Absolutely suspicious circumstances related to the case.
Frustrated and heartbroken, Robinson hired a private investigator. Where are we going?
Down here is where the vehicle was recovered from.
Is that the glass from the car?
Yes.
When you looked at this accident, what are the discrepancies that you noticed right away?
I believe it was in more than one collision.
What does the data from the black box of the car tell you?
That there was 11 additional miles on the vehicle since the airbags came out.
What does that tell you?
That tells me it was crashed somewhere else.
Does that sound suspicious? What explains that?
Well, we had the national expert that came in and provided us his findings, and then they ended up speaking to an expert at Jeep, and the expert says, yes, sometimes that happens, and it's not unusual.
But the data also shows someone tried to start the car 46 times after the crash.
That's something we can't explain.
It begs the question, again, the family is saying it's criminal. It's got to be he's in danger. Do something.
Right. No, I agree. But we need information. We need evidence.
He's got a lot of theories. His words, I think, were, I don't think they cared. What do you say to that?
Can be furthest from the truth.
Losing hope, Robinson began pleading for media coverage.
It literally took 3 months.
While Robinson searched for his son, the country became riveted by media coverage of another missing persons case, the case of Gabby Petito.
In my situation, people think I love our children less or something, or they're less important.
In 2020, more than 543,000 missing persons records were filed. More than 480,000 were cleared. And 40% of the missing are people of color.
There are a lot of Gabby Petitos and Natalie Holloways in the Black and brown community.
That's why former police officer Derica Wilson co-founded Black and Missing Inc. and says too often their cases go untold. Eventually, local stations did stories and citizens began helping search. Did you know Daniel?
No, I just wanted to help.
You're just helping out a stranger on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Why?
You know what? I can't imagine what that man's going through.
As the search for Daniel goes into its 5th month, another family is in the midst of a terrible mystery for a 5th year. The family of Nikki and Ariana Fitz.
Ariana is very energetic, very happy.
2-year-old Ariana went missing under the most suspicious of circumstances in the San Francisco Bay Area in 2016. Her mother, Nikki Fitz, was found in a shallow grave in San Francisco's McLaren Park, but Ariana was gone.
It breaks my heart that Ariana's not with her mom and Ariana's not with her family, but it also breaks my heart even more is that I know that Nikki wants nothing more than Ariana to be with us, to be home.
Tessa Fitz says she is convinced her niece Ariana was taken by people close to Ariana's mother. San Francisco police searched for weeks. They had some leads, but no arrests. A digitally altered photo was made of what she may look like now.
And she's 8 now. I don't want to see this in a picture. I want to see her face in person.
Should Ariana Fitz be a household name like JonBenet Ramsey?
Absolutely. Why is her case any different from Kaylee Anthony? I can tell you, the color of their skin is the only difference.
For 5 desperate years, the family has continued searching using flyers, social media, and Black and Missing Inc.
Do you think it has anything to do with color?
I try not to put myself in the mindset of the race issue with her media coverage. All I want is for there to be the media coverage for her. I think she deserves that.
The Fitz and the Robinsons want only one thing, with hugging their missing children once again.
Do you think that Ariana is still alive?
I do believe that Ariana is still alive, and it would mean everything to me to know where she is and to find her. I wait for that day every single day. I believe that day will come.
How long will you search?
Till I find my son. I have to. I mean, he's my responsibility.
Sarah Seidner, CNN, Buckeye, Arizona.
Government officials insist
that BNC Live has been following from the beginning. A father continues his mission to find out what happened to his son.
Daniel Robinson vanished in the Buckeye Desert.
Daniel Robinson went missing in the Buckeye Desert.
Urgent plea from a father who has scoured the vast Arizona desert himself.
4-year-old Daniel Robinson, and this is a very, very odd mystery.
Daniel Robinson disappeared on June 23rd in the far West Valley.
His parents, David and Melissa, need our help.
I'm David Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel Robinson.
His name, Daniel Robinson. And leading the search, not law enforcement, but Daniel's father, David.
God knows how much we can bear, you know? And at times I feel like I can't really take but so much more.
Where is Daniel Robinson?
And identify they were human leg bones.
But you know what? It's still urgent to me as a father because, we found human remains out here.
David Robinson had only one thought on his mind as he drove the nearly 1,800 miles from his South Carolina home to Phoenix.
I had to find my son. I also want to thank the volunteers that come out here every weekend, volunteering their time. And, without these special people behind me, I wouldn't have a search.
How does a young man vanish off the face of the earth? How does that happen? No record, no sightings, nothing. He's just gone. And when I say a young man, I'm talking about 25-year-old Daniel Robinson. He is the apple of his parents' eye. A young geologist, music lover, good-looking, great grades, the works. So why can't we find Daniel. I mean, see, Grace, this is Crime Stories. And his dad, David Robinson, is using the GoFundMe money to fund his own investigation in the desperate search for his boy, his son, Daniel Robinson, 25 years old. What happened to him? How did he just disappear? David Robinson, sir, thank you so much for being with us. Tell me, when you first realized your son just hadn't called in a couple of days, that he was truly missing.
Yes, my son, on the 23rd, I did get a call from my daughter. She also lives out in Phoenix.
And at times I feel like I can't really take but so much more.
But in his weakest times, David says it's the volunteers that provide him strength.
You know, everybody know that I call them my extended family. And so this visual is the same thing. We all here have one common goal, and that's to find Daniel and also to bring light what happened to other families.
As the Robinsons' extended family light candles tonight, their collective light shines towards that day when their question is answered and Daniel comes home. Josh Sanders, 12 News.
When the lights and camera turn off, I will be here. When the interest and conversation fade, I will be here. When there's no one around, a father will do anything it takes to be there for his son, to protect his family.
Daniel Robinson went missing 4 months ago. This is the last photo his family has of him. He's a 24-year-old geologist, last seen leaving his job site in Buckeye, Arizona.
As the Gabby Petito homicide case garners national attention, another young person has been missing for nearly 3 months, and his family is desperate to find him. 24-year-old Daniel Robinson, a geologist, was last seen on the morning of June 23rd, leaving his work site in the desert of Buckeye, Arizona.
David Robinson had only one thought on his mind as he drove the nearly 1,800 miles from his South Carolina home to Phoenix.
I had to find my son. Thank you, everybody, for coming into this evening's Q&A. My name is David Robinson. I am the father of geologist Daniel Robinson. I'm here this evening to answer your questions on this Q&A. My son, Daniel, a graduate of the College of Charleston, Charleston, South Carolina, came out to Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, to start his career. He landed his first job out here in Phoenix with a company called Matrix New World, also called Matrix Southwest Groundwater. They hired him on as a field geologist, also called a hydrogeologist. My son go out to various wells, also all over this state of Arizona. In the state, wells had to be put in communities that are being built. Sometimes 2 wells, but those wells have to produce at least 100 years of water. My son's job is, and his company's job is, to determine if these wells can produce that amount of water, and also check the viability of those wells. Those wells have to be clean. Of course, we have to check the rock settlements and things like that, the water, the chemicals and things, or whatever that is in that water that comes out of the water, because those are drinking water. So my son's job is very important. He came out to Arizona to put his career. He loved Arizona. He like do a lot of hiking, just like I say, hiking. He just really loved that a whole lot. He liked to collect his rocks and things like that. You know, that's what things that geologists love. He loved places like Sedona, Flagstaff, and some of these other areas that I don't know about here in Arizona. My son really loved the nature and the way that Arizona, all the things that Arizona provide for him being a geologist. On June 23rd, my son, a very, very highly responsible young man. Like I said, he came out here, lived alone. He had a roommate for a little while, lived alone, took care of his own bills, take care of himself, purchased on his first vehicle, doing well for himself. He went to work like he always do, being responsible. On June the 23rd, he had 2 assignments that morning to go to 2 different well sites in the city of Buckeye, Arizona. One was off of I-10 near the Verado Way area in Buckeye. The other was off of Sun Valley Parkway near the Sonoran Desert area. And Daniel went to, according to the story that was given to myself and my family, he went to both of those wells. The first well he went to, he did some taking pictures of some logs and things like that. He did receive a phone call or a voicemail from a guy that he would be meeting out there to the second well site, alert him not to come out to the well site because of a fuel truck issue, as well as my son did try to text him for directions to that location. But nevertheless, the story that was given to my family and myself is by the Buckeye Police Department, as well as this worker, is that my son made it out there to that well site around 9 o'clock that morning. And at 9 o'clock, this worker said that my son and he had a conversation for a little over 10 minutes. And in that conversation, they talked about the weather. My son eventually waved off to him, got in his vehicle, and drove off to never be seen again. Almost 30 days later, my son's vehicle showed up in this ravine right here. That's his vehicle behind me. Showed up in a ravine, a 20-foot ravine, almost 3 miles away from that well site, and farther off into that Sonoran Desert. According to the Buckeye Police Department, everything that's on his body, and I say allegedly because we don't know if it's my son's clothing, but the Buckeye Police Department believe it is. Allegedly, they said his clothing, everything he's wearing, from his socks, his underwear, laying 3 feet away from the vehicle. His safety vest was another foot away from the clothing. One boot was on the one side of the vehicle, one was tucked under the other side. And like I said, they found his wallet, according to the Buckeye Police Department, in his pants pocket that was turned inside out, as well as his cell phone and his personal effects, work computer, laptop was found in the vehicle. 2 cases of untouched water. My son is missing to this day. So According to the Buckeye Police Department, they felt that the vehicle twisted and rolled and flipped and turned, and miraculously, according to the Buckeye Police Department, my son did not sustain any injuries because they believe he didn't, because they say they didn't physically see any blood in the vehicle. They say they knew he was wearing the seatbelt because the way the seatbelt locks after an accident, he was sitting in the seat. But at the same time, they believe that he had a severe head injury, a brain injury that he kicked out of the sunroof. According to Buckeye Police Department, the glasses on the ground came from the sunroof. We later know from an accident reconstruction that vehicle do not have a sunroof glass. So the glass on the ground did not come from that sunroof because it don't have a glass. But nevertheless, the Buckeye Police Department said he kicked out of this glass, got out the sunroof because of his head injury. Head injuries make you get hot and you start sweating and get real hot. You feel like you're hot. That made him shred his clothes off. He probably walked off and hid under a tree to cool off, and some wild animal killed him, got him, took him away. The second thing was the theory of the Buckeye Police Department that maybe my son wanted to be away from his family and join a monastery and become a monk. You guys know that I didn't accept that story. It was ludicrous to me. It was offensive to me. I decided to hire my own private investigator. In the fact of finding out once that vehicle was turned over to me the next day, the vehicle was found on July the 19th by a rancher. On July the 20th, it was turned over to me. I had to beg a man hold on that vehicle for at least 3 days so I could find where I could take that vehicle to have it pull out of that compound, a police compound. But in the meantime, I did have a meeting with the Buckeye Police Department, with the Chief Hall at the time, Chief Sanders at the time, and their entire staff. In that meeting, I found out they didn't do any forensic work on the scene. I demanded some fingerprinting immediately. I demanded that. They said they could hold a vehicle for a few more days to do that fingerprinting, as well as all the other information that I found out in that meeting that you guys have talked to you guys before about. But you know, you guys, I've been working really hard from the time I got here on the ground on June 26th. I've been working with the Buckeye Police Department, getting all the information I can, trying to secure the ping locations of my son's cell phone, because the cell phone was recovered in the vehicle. The same cell phone that was calling my family and I for an entire day. It ring, 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 and finally go to the voicemail, letting us know that it did have cell phone coverage. It didn't go straight to the voicemail. It didn't do anything like that. It actually rang, and then it finally go to the voicemail. So it was definitely getting cell phone coverage until eventually it started going to the voicemail directly, because most likely at that time the battery was dead. So we tried to fight really hard with the Buckeye Police Department to get those cell phone pings. They came up every excuse they can not to go. They first promised that they was going to do it, just like they promised the helicopter flight and then cancel it. They promised that at first. Then some higher up came up, Lieutenant Hanneman at the time. He not lieutenant, but I think he was one of the detective sergeants, I believe it was. But he came in and told us no, they can't do it, because he said that a judge, if they apply for a warrant, they have to have a warrant for that, and that a judge wouldn't give them a warrant if they applied for it. They didn't try to attempt to apply for it, but he said if they applied for it, because it's not a criminal case, they would not get a warrant. So we asked for things like, let's find out if my son been seen on camera headed up to the Sun Valley Parkway or to his last work site, or whatever case may be. They came back and told us they couldn't get any information from that either. No pictures, no videos, no nothing from the time my son been living here in Arizona, as well as the day that he went missing. The third thing is, we found out later that we thought my son had a system in his car. We found it was a Uconnect, not an OnStar. We thought it was an OnStar at first. Found it was Uconnect. We alerted the Buckeye Police Department about that. They quickly came back and told us they couldn't get information, but then they turned around and said, yeah, we talked to Uconnect, and they told us that they couldn't get anything from it because somebody probably damaged it, the system, because they couldn't get anything. Somebody disconnected the battery source, the power source to that Uconnect, and it coming up empty. They later told us that it was coming up 0 grids or something out of other. We have 0 grids and things like that. But everything we tried to get from the Buckeye Police Department to locate my son was being blocked, in our opinion, the way it was feeling towards me and my family. There was no efforts to really try really hard to get any kind of answers. They did not even try to go to the Sprint T-Mobile to get their own phone record. Instead, they put my daughter in the interrogation room and had us to hold up a cell phone, the black cell phone. I had the cell phone. I always keep the cell phone around me so I can show you this very phone, the same as that phone here. Had us strolling down this phone to look at the phone records, to look at the bank statement from there. And that's when you guys saw the report, or we obtained phone records from the family. If that's obtaining phone records from the family, they can have that from the cell phone sitting across the table. So some of those things was not done. It's been done in a sloppy way, non-concerned. So those things right there was one of the big chief reasons why I had to get a second opinion. In combination of everything, I started losing that belief. And then they told me before they gave me the vehicle as well, is that they had more leads to follow, and it was done with the case. They also put it on their social media page. That was done with the case. They had told my investigator once I hired them on, they wasn't doing an investigation. But you guys know what happens when a father like myself go out and fight for my child. Been doing everything from doing interviews to putting out information in the public to out there in the desert, doing anything, a combination of everything I can to find my son. Of course, that would bring a national attention. Thank God we was able to get national attention on an unfortunate way, though. The unfortunate way was through that the passing of the situation with the Petito family. It was a real tragic situation for that family. That family as well was going through some pain with their daughter. And two unfortunate things, two painful situations caused a national attention. So my son's story started going national. Of course, when that happens, these investigative reporters, to you name it, start coming down on the Buckeye Police Department. And because of that, then they again started saying the words investigation. They have never came back to me and my family to this date to say we are holding an investigation, but they go to the public. They released the police report to the public that you guys have already. I already had my reports that they gave to me, but they released it to you guys with the highlight of the situation with the young lady. At the time, I thought it was a character assassination to try to throw off of the fact they haven't been doing their job and not trying to do everything they can to find Daniel. So I've been fighting this battle for a long time. As you guys know, I've been asking you guys for GoFundMe to support out in the deserts, to passing out these flyers, you name it. And I really appreciate you guys from the bottom of my heart. I just want to say this up front, as like I always say on this Q&A, I really love you for it. I really thank you guys for everything you do for me and my family to make sure that I'm here with my boots on the ground to fight for my son. I've been here over a year now fighting for Daniel. I'm not on a vacation, not on some joyride, but I have go through a lot every day to try to find my son. And you guys have been champion with your comments. I really look at your comments and your love that you guys have been showing. Just saying, just your words. Your words, it helps me out a lot. Your support, your kindness. You know what I'm saying? He's out there trying to help everything you can. I ran to a lady the other day. She said her daughter made a T-shirt for Daniel. Had his face there. Something I didn't even put together. But we have people like that just create their own T-shirts and things just to bring some awareness to Daniel's case. I really appreciate that. But I'm here for a couple of things. You guys know today is almost another month. 2 more days on the 23rd. It'll be another month that Daniel's been missing, over a year now and some months. And, we have this thing called fast and prayer for Daniel. That's what this is today. We fast and we pray. Those who join in with me, this morning I did do a prayer for the fast and prayer to bring the fast and prayer in. And again, I will be right now doing the prayer to end the fast and prayer for the day. Like I tell you every time, you guys, you want to keep on fasting the prayer, you can. I just have to stop it for now. Do a prayer through the Q&A, because the Q&A here is at 5:30, and I just go ahead and do it now. But like I said, you guys can keep going. I lay that under your heart between you and God and your own conscience, whatever you want to do. But I really want to thank you guys who have joined in and fast and pray with us, who've gone through this fast and with us, because you know what? I tell you, prayer changes things, and also prayer actually strengthens us, especially the fast. The fast has strengthened us spiritually and naturally as well. So definitely we need that fasting along with our prayer. Prayer, you can pray and ask God for something, but then the fasting is also action. You have to put some action to your prayer, and with your faith, you got to put that action there as well. So I have the faith that God will give me some of those answers to give those families that we pray for as well, give them answers to bring their loved ones home. So definitely, you guys, let's say we come together and pray in unison like that. I know we'll get some answers and get some things. I haven't found Daniel yet, but I tell you what, there's a lot of great things been happening. I've been going through this fast and prayer. I've been asking God to keep me here in Arizona, and I've been here. He's been doing it. He's been sustaining and taking care of some things, and that's because of you guys, and I really love you for it. So again, I will be doing this prayer in the fast and prayer for Daniel, and then we'll go into a couple things I want to talk about right now, as well as talk about these families that I told you guys before last week who have missing loved ones. I want to go through those families' story, and I hope you guys pay attention to that. Then we'll go into the Q&A portion where I have some things I want to show you as well, like I showed you this morning, and we'll answer some questions. So, Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord, for this day. Again, this full day of fasting and prayer for Daniel, as well as the fast and prayer for all the families who have missing loved ones. We thank you right now. We claim the victory. We know that we have everything in your hands. Lord, you see our desire, you see our heart, and I know you will bless us. You will pour out your blessings, and you will give us everything we ask for. You give us those guidance. You give us wisdom. You'll put your hands on the police departments to trouble their minds and trouble their hearts to make them do the right things. I know you can do that. I know you can do that. We have faith in that. We praise your name. We also thank you, Lord, for those who have joined in with me to do the fasting and prayer. Me and my team to do the fasting and prayer, and that's standing in us in that gap, standing in those intercessions. We ask you, Lord, to bless them as well. Bless their heart. They have a good heart. You have people who have been donating their money. You have people who have been donating their time, their words. You have people from other countries who have been doing everything they can to support this channel, try to support what we're doing here for Daniel. I really appreciate you guys, all the vendors and everybody who's been contributing. And thank you for the reporters as well. Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord, for this day, keeping us safe from seen and unseen dangers. And we ask you right now to continue to bless us. And again, bless those families who need of their love, been missing, these children who's out there missing. You know their name, you know each one on by name. Yes, Heavenly Father, bless them to come back home. Bless this country to do a lot better and bringing their own children, their own families, their own citizens back home. You know what I'm saying? Make sure we get our priorities right. We know, thank you, Heavenly Father, for all of those. We thank you in Jesus' name, pray, amen. Thank you everybody for this Q&A, this fast and prayer for Daniel. And you guys, like I said, have been supporting this fast and prayer for Daniel every month. So I want to tell you, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I can feel it. I feel your presence. When I go through it myself, I can feel you. I can feel you joining in with me. I know it. I know it's happening because, like I said, there's some things, some breakthroughs that have been happening for me and my family. Some of those things I wish I could tell you. I told you I'm working with some things with law enforcement in the background. I've been advised by them. They want to work behind the scenes, so that's fine. But I'll tell you guys, it's been some great things that towards the efforts. When I say my efforts as well as your efforts, everything you guys have been doing, all the phone calls, the text messages, or whatever y'all been doing out there to help, help me put some pressures on these departments, as well as, so my team who's been behind me in my back, Gwen as well, and all these people that's really been behind my back and really trying to make sure that we get some movement with the law enforcement. So I've been working very hard. Like I say, guys, you see me on Q&As, you see me on interviews, but there's a lot of things that happens that don't come on things like on TV or whatever the case may be. There's a lot of hard work in the background to try to push the issue and try to get some things done on Daniel's behalf. Because, I'm here to fight. I'm not here to play games with people. Like I told y'all this morning, I'm not here to hold the police hands or make them feel good or whatever the case may be. I'm not here. I'm just here to find my son, and I'll do anything and everything to make that happen. So they need to know that. You guys already know that. You probably can tell as well. It's just not going to just fly over so easy with anybody, any of the police department or whoever they are. It's not just going to fly over that easy. I will be really hard on everybody, much as I can. And I thank you guys for having my backing and backing me up. I would ask you to encourage to help other people to help come in and help back me up. You guys keep signing that petition, putting your voice to that petition. That would help. Again, I just want to talk about some of these families that I have brought on here before. And again, real quick, if you guys have any family members that's missing and you want to come on this Q&A or you want to come on this channel any day, you don't have to be on Wednesday, whatever's convenient for you, I'll have you on. I will make a special video or whatever time Q&A for you. But I just would like to be able to share your story. If you can, definitely hit me up and let me know. All right, so you do have the information there You want to well, that's the one wrong thing on the bottom, but I want to put my information there for you guys. If you want to contact me, you can do so by calling the cell phone number. You can text the cell phone number, and I know you guys have been doing that. And I can say, and I'm gonna say this here as well. I apologize for those who've been doing that, and I haven't gotten to those messages and things like that. It's been very hard. Like I said, I've been tremendously busy, but I do have a team, and you guys can also use Please Help Find Daniel at yahoo.com. And we do everything we can to contact you back and get the information. But that is our contact information, and really trying sometimes to be so many and trying to get to everybody. But yes, that's the information to get in contact. It's the phone number there. That's a public cell phone number, as well as that's the email address for you guys to reach out, especially families who want to be a part of the Q&A and things like that. We definitely, like I said, utilize the information, and we'd love to have you on. So again, I want to talk about a family that has a missing son, and I want to make sure that Mr. Ethan Risto, he's a 38-year-old white male at 5'8", 180 pounds. He's had brown, short-shaved hair. He had blue eyes. He's been missing since August 20th of 2021. That was last year. He's been missing from Scottsdale, Fountain Hills, Arizona. He was last seen wearing his black T-shirt, green knee-length shorts, and black high-top Converse shoes and black eyeglasses. And reason why I want to put something up there. His father, like I told you guys, Ethan, he is 38 years old, missing. Right? He's loved by his mother and his children, and also he has loved by his father and his family. So, what I'm saying from a father's standpoint is what I'm going at. He's 38 years old, but his father, he's his father's son. And his father's out here fighting for him. So I just want to go ahead and put this up here for you guys. It's something that Mr. Risto, the father, gave to me, and I want to share it with you guys and on in this Q&A. So here we go. See if I can get this sound up right. And I want you guys to listen to his story, and if you can help, get the information. I'll get the information at the end. I'll put on the bottom of the screen as well.
_20th, 2021 in a My 38-year-old son, Ethan Benjamin Risto, has been missing for just over a year. He was last seen on August 20th, 2021 in an area near Fountain Hills, near Shea Boulevard and the Beeline Highway. He was with his wife and two little boys, who are now 4 and 5 years old. During a family outing, my son became separated from his family in the desert and has been missing ever since. Law enforcement and family members have conducted searches, and Salt River Police have been investigating his disappearance, but so far they have been unable to find any trace of Ethan. Every day, his wife and his two little boys still wonder what happened to their dad. We are desperately asking for the public's help. Maybe someone out there saw something or knows something, anything that can help find Ethan.
If you have any information on the whereabouts of Ethan Risto, please contact the Salt River Police Department at 480-850-9230.
Okay, I'm back. Having trouble going back and forth, getting used to taking the mutes off and things like that. But you see his information on the bottom of the screen. If you can help this father out, very, very kind man. Like I said, he's loved by his children and his mother, his dad and his family, and as well as his wife. So you guys can help that family out. The information is on the bottom of the screen down there, as well as I have information here on the screen as well that I was sharing again. Please, if you guys can help this family out, do so. The information is here. Like I say, he's 37 years old. 38 now years old. White male, 5'8", 180 pounds. The information is here. You guys, you can go on this website as well, the name of this website, and get some more information as well. As on Friday, August the 20th, 2021, Ethan was last seen in the desert area near East Shea Road, Shea Boulevard, and Beeline Highway near the border of Fountain Hills and the Salt River Pima Maricopa Indian community, and has not been seen since. Earlier that day, he had visited Safeway and DJ's Bagel Cafe in Fountain Hills. Ethan's vehicle is a 2005 blue Toyota Highlander, was located abandoned in that area. You guys, again, you can call the Salt Lake Police Department, Salt River Police Department with your information if you have those at 480-850-9230. That's 480-850-9230. You guys here, like I said, have been champions to help me and my family get the word out and things like that. So I want you guys to help these families as well. They desperately looking for their loved one. And, that father don't want to leave his behind either. So I want to make sure you guys can be aware of that and make sure you're doing everything you can to help these families, because it's very important, man. These families are suffering. My family is suffering, so I know how it works. It's really painful for families to have to go there alone without knowing what to do, what steps to take, and things like that. So definitely, please, if you guys can help, all means do so. If you can. I really appreciate that as well. I have another one as well that I'm going to put up here. You got to hear some of the things in the background. I'm really trying to work this out. Let's see if I can get her information here as well. All right. I'm really looking out her mother. Jessica I met her at the Day of Remembrance, as well as I did Mr. Risto. Met them both at the Day of Remembrance. And oh my gosh, it's hard to actually see a mother. I mean, it's everybody, no matter who they are. They have a missing loved one. They're in pain, but it's very, very hurtful to see a mother in that kind of pain that she is and Jessica was in for her daughter. She have a young daughter, like I say, who's been missing and is still currently missing. And it's very hurtful just to see a mother have to go through that pain. So I want to play this video for you all as well. I want you guys to listen to her story as well, and I'll tell you on the other end a little bit more that I know about her story. So can you guys hold on for 1 minute here, and I definitely want to put that on now.
Tonight's big story, an anniversary that no parent should ever have to face. This week marks 3 years since 14-year-old Alicia Navarro disappeared. The only clue the Glendale teen left behind was a note telling her mother that she would be back.
Even after all this time, Alicia's mom refuses to give up hope, believing her daughter will keep her promise and come home. Team 12's Chase Golightly has the story.
Just her smile, her being so caring, so loving.
Not a single day goes by that Jessica Nunez doesn't think of her daughter.
I remember when she started high school, she was very excited.
Including the last time she saw Alicia Navarro.
It's really hard.
On September 15th, 2019, just 5 days before her birthday, 14-year-old Alicia was gone, leaving behind this note that read,
I ran away. I will be back. I swear. I'm sorry.
Jessica not believing her daughter ran away, but was taken.
I would never imagine that she will be willing to do something like this.
She has been relentless in her search for Alicia.
Since the beginning, I never stopped.
Passing out flyers, buying billboards, hiring private investigators, anything and everything. 3 years later,
I have no idea where she's at. There's no trace of her.
Despite all this time and pain she has gone through, Jessica refuses to give up.
I can't turn back. I love my daughter very much. And that is the number one thing.
Telling us there have been leads in the ongoing investigation.
I wish I knew what I know now.
Jessica believing someone her daughter was talking with on social media is responsible for the abduction. She is now speaking with other parents about the dangers kids face on those platforms.
To share that awareness with other parents to learn. If it happened to me, it could happen to anyone.
All while holding on to hope.
And you can't lose that hope.
Hope that her daughter will keep that promise so they can be together again.
I do feel my daughter will fulfill that promise and she will be found. I am assured of that.
Chase Golightly, 12 News.
Thank you guys again. I really appreciate that. Let me see if I can get that off. But thank you guys again for watching that. And like I said, I want to put information up as well. Like I said, I met her mother, Jessica, at the Day of Remembrance. Like I said, it's very painful to see a mother in that kind of pain. And, you can imagine her young daughter. She's a child. Y'all see the letter that she wrote to her mother saying she would be back. This is from a child. So you guys can never forget that she's a baby. And, she needs help. She's an endangered person. And you guys need to do everything you can to help this mother bring her child back home. So I'm doing everything I can. I'm trying to do my part as well. Like I said, you guys have been helping me, and I know that you have the same heart to help this family as well. And so I just wanted to make sure that her story get out there. Again, her name is Alicia Navarro, and she's a young baby. This is her information here on NamUs. You guys, if you can go on that website and or get the information, like I said, from the bottom of the screen here. If you got information, you can use that information on the bottom. Also to share her story. Her mother have flyers. Her mother have these cards. I will show it to you in a minute. But her mother have these information that for you guys to be able to get in contact with them, and to make sure, like I said, you can call the the Anti-Predator Project at 305-796-4859, or you can call the Glendale Police Department at 623-930-3000. Those are information there for you guys. Like I said, young baby missing. I think she's about to turn 18 now. Her mother's had an anniversary, as you heard on the video there, anniversary date. And people call the anniversary date as a painful date for a family to be reminded that it's a year that your loved one has been missing. So the information is here. You guys can go on the website and get that and share that story. That would be helpful to her and her family and bring this baby back home. So thank you again for watching that as well. I do have another family as well that I want to share his story. Derek Graham. I also met him through one of the volunteers here in Arizona. She brought him to my attention, and he's been out in Virginia searching for his son, desperately searching for his son. And the thing about it is that he's a father who's have custody of his son, but he's in the military. And so he's trying to find his son, but then serve his country at the same time. So he's trying. It's very hard. It's very painful. He don't know where his son's located. Like I told you guys, it's not unique to me and my family. It's not unique to me as a father going out looking for my child. There's other fathers out there doing the same thing. He's one of them. And I just wanted to make sure his story, his fight is still there for his son as well. So you guys, I have another one here. Again, this is the last one. Again, if you guys have any stories you want to share here on this Q&A, please get in contact with me. Please help find Daniel at yahoo.com. Please help find Daniel at yahoo.com and put your request in there. Let me know that you want to be on this Q&A. Love to have you on, share your stories. I've been looking for families to be able to bring on to this Q&A to talk. I'm trying to make sure I can get everybody that I can if they want to be on. That's what this YouTube channel is for as well. My first priority, like I told you guys, is to my son. I have to make sure I do everything to fight for him, and I have been doing that. But I also want to be able to help other families as well. So again, this next story is from a father who has been searching for his son, Angelo. So you guys can please definitely pay attention to this as well. And here we go here. Let's see if I can get that going as well.
Williamsburg father says he's taking matters into his own hands to find his son. This is 14-year-old Angelo Graham, and he has been missing.
Okay.
From James City County for nearly 11 months. We've been telling you about the boy's disappearance since he went missing last September. The boy's father is worried James City County police haven't exhausted every effort to find him. We'll tell you more about that in a moment. For now, Derek Graham has hired a private investigator to help track down leads and post flyers to help find his son on the peninsula. That includes this corner mart on Warwick Boulevard in Newport News.
How do you feel seeing that flyer of your son on this convenience store?
I'm trying not to look at it. So I'm really trying hard not to look at it right now.
Why is it tough?
Because you're not with me. So I'm trying my best not to shake right now and have not having falls right now.
Someone in here said that they've seen your son.
Well, yeah, the gentleman at the 2 o'clock guy said he comes in there all the time.
Said your son comes in here all the time?
He's seen it.
James City County police are now following up on that tip from the father's private investigator. Police and the boy's father believe he ran away from home last year to be with his mother, the father's ex-wife, somewhere near that store in Newport News. Now, that's a big concern because the mother has a history of violence. News 3 investigates learned Lavetta Graham spent time in prison for stabbing the boy's father with scissors and dragging his body on the interstate on 664. She lost custody after that, but the boy has run away several times to be with her. The father says it has never been nearly this long, and at this point, he's fearing the worst. Are you worried about what's happened to him?
I'm past worried. I'm scared.
Now, we have reached out to James City County Police about their efforts. They say they're doing everything they can, including surveilling the mother's home. They say she refuses to speak to them about where her son could be and that they can't compel her to talk. We also asked police about using the power of social media to help get the word out. Our investigative team searched back months and did not find any posts from the James City County Police online until one was published yesterday morning after several weeks and months of asking. We did ask to sit down with the police department about their plans moving forward, but the assistant chief said they were unavailable. While police believe Angelo ran away from home, he is still a missing child. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children says runaways are in danger too, even if they chose to leave home.
They run into potential gang recruitment, certainly violence, being the victims of violence, whether it's physical, sexual abuse, homelessness, protracted homelessness, recruitment into child sex trafficking.
Again, the most important thing here is that a child is missing, and police, his dad, no one can say for sure what has happened to him. So if you know where Angelo Graham is, take action and call 911.
I forgot to take that mute off again. But you know what I was saying is, we all got to remember that these two are children. Again, Alicia Navarro as well as Angelo Graham are babies. They're children, so they can't consent for themselves and things like that. They have a child's mind. As you hear the story, the young man running back to his mother. His father had custody of his child. He's an endangered child. You guys make sure that you definitely look out for him. And if you have any information, the information on the bottom of the screen there. And also, like I said, Alicia, a baby, wrote a mother a letter. She's a child. She has a child mind. And just make sure you guys try to do everything you can to help these families on those behalves. Again, Angelo, like I said, he's been missing since September the 13th of 2021. He's 14 years of age at the time. I think he's 15 now, and it's been over a year. You know, you guys, all this things of anniversary dates. We have one of Alicia Navarro as well as Angelo Graham. They say anniversary dates of these children going missing, and you know that's not a good sound for in the ears of a parent, because every time we have to get anniversary dates, it is a constant reminder. Here it is another length of time that they didn't get to hear their child's voice or interact with their own child. And you know, so I know the pain and I know the feeling of that. A lot of people wouldn't understand it unless they go through it themselves. So you know, you guys can get this information on this website, and missing persons center.org for Angelo. I was trying to look for it in a different place there. I couldn't find it on NamUs. So you know, you got to think about it. Some of the things this man, he's out there trying to fight for his country. So some things haven't been afforded him, as you guys know. In Daniel's case, it's the same way. The Buckeye Police Department said they put him in the database. But thank God for Shiro Nations, for instance. I want to play her video as well, but I will do that probably next time. But she's was right on point, because I had to ask these people to put Daniel's story out into the public, and they didn't do so. They've been waiting. I've been fighting them, and then they finally did. So that's some of the things I had to go through in the background just to get Buckeye Police Department to do exactly what happened in this case with Mr. Graham and his son. They didn't put the information out to sometime later, right? And so definitely, you guys look out for these young children. These are endangered children. They just not some, even though they say, hey, you're a runaway or whatever the case may be, he's a child. He has a child mind, and he didn't deserve this to himself. He don't know what he's doing. He think he is. Sometimes children think they're older than they are. Think they know what they're doing. We know how our children are. So definitely, you got information. Please share that information and help out these families. So thank you again. I just wanted to make sure you guys get those. I am coming to the Q&A side of things. It's been almost an hour now. I have another hour to answer some questions. Again, I'm David Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel Robinson. Excuse me. And today I had the Q&A, which was also a fast and prayer for Daniel. It's going on another 2 days. It'll be another month that Daniel has been missing. You guys, like I said, I have been fighting, and I'm still fighting for my son. I'm tired mentally. I'm tired physically. But he's my son, and he's worth it. You guys have, like I said, haven't been giving up on Daniel. I haven't been giving up on Daniel. So, I'm not giving up on you guys. I really appreciate you guys sticking in there with me with so much support, so much love, and so much support. Again, you guys have any information, anybody who's out there have information, please utilize the tip line that's on the bottom of the screen. If that can bring my son home, that tip line is a 24-hour, 7 days a week tip line with live operators that'll take your call. I pay for that service. That comes from me paying for that service. I promise you guys, We Tip is the host of that. And I'm telling you guys, you can remain anonymous. And like I said, those operators will take your call. They will take your information that you want to give, provide. You can be anonymous or non-anonymous, whatever you prefer. But you still have the option, if you don't want to talk to anybody and you just want to put a tip in and you don't want to speak to anybody, you can just text the word from your cell phone, text the word tip to that number that's scrolling on the bottom of the screen there, and the form will come up, and you still can remain anonymous if you want to. You don't have to, but if you want to, you can still remain anonymous. I won't know who you are. I've been getting a lot of tips. I call it, it's tips, but it's not the kind of tips we're looking for. We look for things that can bring Daniel home. A lot of people give me tips like, man, I think you should check this area way west or something. Whatever the case may be, those are tips, but not the kind of tips that would bring Daniel home per se. You have information, direct information that you know what happened to my son. I know 9 times out of 10 people who know exactly what happened to a person in the case, they follow things like this Q&A. They follow things like my desert searches out there. They probably have been passing out flyers, but they know these answers and know things that they can share, and they have reluctant to share or whatever the case may be. I say to you, it is time. It's been over a year. It's time to clear your conscience. It's time to give some closure to me and my family. It's time to speak out. And that's what this tip line is for. I'm paying for this tip line for you and nobody else. I'm paying for those people who know something, the person who knows something, and to be able to speak when you're ready. I hope that is sooner than later, because, like I said, myself and my family, we're going through a lot of pain, and we shouldn't have to do that, you know. So if you have any information, you need to share it. That's the tip line. It's just for you. I paid it. I'm paying for it just for you. It's for nobody else who's listening. It's just for that person who knows what happened to my son to be able to utilize that without any direct trouble for themselves. They can just tell, hey, let me know what happened. Bring my son back home. That's my main concern. So again, the tip line's on the bottom. I do want to go, like I said, to the comment section. You guys have any questions, please utilize the questioning by so I can find your question. Use the capital letter Q, the word question, or some question marks or things like that. That can help me as I'm coming down the comment section where I actually can see your text. I do see a super chat here, and I really thank you so much for the super chat. See who I can figure out who this is. Thank you so much, Athena. Thank you so much. Oh, that's so kind of you. I really appreciate that, you guys who's in the chats with the super chats. And thank you to moderators, all the moderators that's there talking to everybody while I'm doing this Q&A and doing some of the things. You guys, the moderators there, a lot of them are my team members as well. And those moderators have been a blessing to me, keeping the chat safe. I say keep it safe. There's a lot of things that goes in the chat sometimes. You guys will be coming up. You know, anytime somebody's doing good things out here in the world, there's always some people who want to do some bad things. You know, you got always I call them the sickos will come out and do some sick things. So if you see things in the chat, you guys, that don't come from the goodwill for you guys really trying to show love, support, just ignore them. Because, you know, you got to understand we have our special people in the world, our special children, in a sense, that have their own mental or situations that they feel like they have to hurt others to make themselves feel happy. So again, thank you so much, everybody who have joined in on this Q&A. Life be like. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on to this Q&A as well. Thank you, Dog Defender, for coming in as well. I really appreciate you coming in. All right, it's health information, like say, from the moderators. Thanks, Sophia. You know, guys, if you guys want to help support everything I'm doing here, you can go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, hit that donation tab, and they will take you to the GoFundMe. I'm trying to reach that goal. You know, you guys can help me get to that goal. That would be a blessing and help out as well. I'm trying to reach that goal so that the information is there as well. So thank you, Sophia, for putting it up. I do have a question here from Life Be Like, and thanks so much. It says a question and / a statement. I really appreciate that. The question is, I just watched the last video today. You mentioned the well. I remember when you posted the underwater camera in the video. No parent family should have to go through what you have. And I really appreciate that. You've been watching this Q&A for a while, and I really appreciate that. Yes. I have been had to go out and get my own persons to go down in these wells. I still have these 2 mines that I really wanted to search as well. But I did get some information. The Buckeye Police Department made some deal. I guess something going on with the owners to try to keep me out the desert now. So it's a little problems with that as well. I tried to get information with the Bureau of Land Management. That once I showed them that Daniel's vehicle was on federal land, they stopped communicating. So it's really a lot of red tape that I had to go through, you know, bureaucracy and things like that, just to try to get the same company that I was working with were willing to go down in these mines to take a look. But I have a hard time getting the permission and things like that. So that has never happened. But yes, you do remember when I did have that cameras going down to that well that they say that Daniel's last seen, as well as the one that was north, and you did see those suspicious items. And I will do it again on the next Q&A. I will bring that back up again, and we'll talk about that. So you guys, some of the evidence things I found that I did put in public, we'll go back over again and show you what I think, and it goes along with the story that they was given to me and my family that would make more sense. Like I said, this guy said they went 1 mile west and 2 miles north to get to the well site. If you go 2 miles north, you'll get to the second well site, not the first well site. So a lot of that math and that distance don't add up. Just like, to me, that staying to the left of the tracks on a real thin dirt road, staying left of the tracks not to disturb it, don't add up to me as well. And to claim that out of all these tracks that you see out there, rain or not, and I'm telling you guys, I've been out there through rain in that desert, that he can determine which track was Daniel. And first of all, if it was raining the way he said, and Daniel drove off, and he waited a little while and it's still raining, wouldn't Daniel tracks be washed away too? So things like that just don't add up and don't matter to me, because I don't believe the story. I take that with a grain of salt. So you guys, yes, definitely life be like that. You did remember that well that I was able to go down. Thank you, OG Jitterbug, for putting that fast and prayer for Daniel. You guys, the hashtag has really helped. A lot of people have been reaching out and been putting on their page. So the hashtag fast and prayer for Daniel. I really appreciate you doing that. That's a really blessing. I really appreciate you taking time to add that to your social media. All right, thank you also, Gina, for putting that up, prayer and strength. And I had to put you in because I thank you so much for all the hard work that you do as well. All the many hours you put out there in the desert with me, all the many days and hours you put in the desert with me, as well as out in the city searches and flyer distribution. Put out thousands of flyers with me. So thank you, Gina, for all of that. Prayer, strength for the Robinson family, and continued prayers for Daniel's safe return. Thank you for putting a hashtag fast and prayer for Daniel. Thanks so much. I really appreciate it. All right, Karen Lee, thanks so much for being here as well in this Q&A this evening. Thanks, Sophia, for the information. You can sign the petition. Go to Please Help Find Daniel. Let's see how the link there, but you can go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com and hit that petition tab, and it will take you to change.org. You see it's 120,459 people have put their voices to that petition. And that, I'm telling you guys, is very important that you do that. If you have multiple email addresses, you can do it multiple times. That's just your voice being amplified. I did hear that when you go in and try to, sometimes with some people, have to verify the email address. If you can do that, that definitely help as well. Also, just keep in mind, you guys, when you go out and put your name on that petition, they also have a donation tab that's there. That's not my donation tab. It don't come to anything that's Please Help Find Daniel. That is just for change.org to keep their website running. So I want people to make sure they don't get confused with that and say, hey, we donating to the Robinson family. No, that's donating to anything on change.org is donated to change.org. So only place of source that we're taking donations is through the website, pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. And also, for those who have been asking me about the Cash App, because they don't want to pay to give anything to GoFundMe because of the fees that come out of GoFundMe. Some has sent some things to Cash App, and that Cash App I don't put on the website, but it is on the Twitter account. That's Please Help Find 4 Twitter page. Please Help Find and the number 4. Couldn't put Please Help Find Daniel, so it's Please Help Find the number 4. You'll see a Cash App icon or whatever, the cash icon at the top. I put it there. That's just for those who was asking directly for me to use. They wanted to use the Cash App. But other than that, you guys, if you want to help, you can help that way as well. All right, but definitely sign that petition. That petition is very important. I really appreciate you guys that have been helping. So also, if you guys want to help in other ways, you can't do the flyers, you can't do some things, you can go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. You can hit the other ways, the help in other ways tab, and volunteer in other ways tab. And and sign that form. That form, help us with our skill set. I have a Daniel Robinson Foundation. That Daniel Robinson Foundation launch date will be coming up soon. We need, we'll be having we're helping families, so we'll be needing help and things like that. So put your information there, so we can always have that. Have that information for you. A lot of people have done that months ago. We still have that information, so please do that. And if you want to help us out, so. All right, thank you, Sophie, for your continuous prayers. Teresa Angs, thank you so much. Also, thank you, Karen, for being here. Thank you for your prayers as well. Karen Washington, thanks so much. God bless you for that. Also, thank you, Phil, for putting all this information out. If you guys want to help me with the flyer distribution, because I'm still putting out thousands of flyers all over this country. It's not just Arizona anymore, it's everywhere. And you guys, you can print out that PDF. Pleasehelpfinddaniel.com is a PDF there. We can print to make the flyers yourself. Or if you can request the flyers, you just hit me up on pleasehelpfinddaniel@yahoo.com and request flyers. We'll send some out to you as well. If you want to be an ambassador for your city, for to help other families, because building that infrastructure for other families, and also for Daniel to get flyers out in your city, your state, you want to be an ambassador, you can join me tomorrow at 5 o'clock. I've been trying really hard to try to get participation in that. You guys, if you can, just come out as a hero have to say tomorrow evening at 5 o'clock. The Zoom link is a Zoom at 5 o'clock tomorrow, Arizona time. That's 8 o'clock p.m. South Carolina, East Coast time. And if you guys want to join in, just to hear what I have to say, please go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com and look on that front page there. You'll see the Zoom link on that front page. You can join me at 5 o'clock Arizona time. Again, that is 8 o'clock p.m. East Coast time. So I think Arizona and also California is on the same timeline right now. So that'll be 5 o'clock, like I said, tomorrow afternoon. So come join me there and learn more about the flyer distribution. And right now, you guys, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit the like, share, subscribe. Thank you, Gina, for putting that up. Like, share, subscribe button. I really need you guys to do that to keep these algorithms going and, try to keep Daniel's story and getting out there as far as I can. So you can definitely hit that like, share, and subscribe button. That really helps tremendously. Trying to reach everybody I can. Those who have not been able to say hello to, and thank you for being here. I do have a question from PG. David, have you ever shared your personal conclusion of what happened to your son? It's from things I have collected, PG. Everything that I try to keep my mind two different ways. I'm a man of faith, and I want to believe that Daniel is out there alive somewhere. I just still need to rescue him to be able to bring him back home. So I'm doing everything in my power to make that happen. At the same time, some of the things that I have found would suggest otherwise, like this vehicle would suggest foul play and everything else I found. So it's hard. It's hard. But one conclusion I know, and I have a fact, I really believe, based on me knowing my son, based on everything I do know, he did not do as the Buckeye Police Department suggests. He joined a monastery, become a monk, or because he wanted to be away from his family somehow. And he wrecked this vehicle and had some severe head injury that made him shred his clothes off, and some wild animal got him, or something out of other, or some other narrative about that's out there. So one thing I can say that yes, I really believe that whatever happened, there's some people involved. That's what I really believe, and get to the bottom of that. And one day I'll be able to share some of the things I do know with you guys. But right now I'm trying to give law enforcement a chance to do the right things and take some of those things I do know and do something with it. So definitely, yeah, I do have some conclusions, but I try not to put too many theories out there because people go wild with that. Just like I told Jeff McGrath, my former investigator, when he went out and threw out a theory of some PCP theory that was baseless because there was nothing found in my son's vehicle. They even suggest he even had any marijuana. My son do smoke marijuana. I would not ever say he do not. But the thing is, there was nothing suggesting that he made it to one well site, and between that one well site, he came out to the second well site and smoked some PCP lace marijuana, as he tried to suggest as a theory. So not say as a fact, as a theory to look into. Yeah, it's okay. I'm fine with theories. I'm fine with a person looking into theories. That's his job as an investigator, to look into every possible angle. I do that as well. But some things don't need to be put out in public that way, because that kills some people when they hear from an investigator as a theory, they'll take it as a fact, and there'll be something that's really problematic for the character of Daniel. So, and that's the kind of thing that caused the separation there between our working separation. But my conclusion is, like I said, I don't have a conclusion, but my thought is it's foul play, and that my son would not just walk away from his family. And that's two things I do know. So, all right. And also, you guys, thank you guys. If you guys have any information, like I said, thank you, Dr. Fender, for putting it up. Fast and prayer for Daniel. I really appreciate that. Thanks so much for that. God bless you for that. You guys have any more questions, please put that word question like PM done here, the question marks, or capital letter Q, something like that. That definitely would help me find as I'm coming down the comment section. Question here from PM channel, referred to morning session. What narrative was private investigator Jeff McGrath trying to push that conflicted with real facts? Did just quitting create doubt in his motives. No, I mean, like I said, one of the biggest things, what happened with that, like I told you this morning, guys, I was put on a spot, what I'm saying, and it happened, as a person who's been out here fighting for my son. He works for me. It wasn't the other way around, and of course, he's been doing a lot of interviews and things like that. That's no problem. But if you have any theories or anything you want to throw out in the public, I think it's proper and only out of respect that he would come to me first and say, "Hey, look, Mr. Robinson, I have a theory that I want to look into, and this is what I want to put." But it shouldn't have been that I've been on a live TV. I get a news organization say, "Hey, Mr. Robinson, I want to do a live with you." I'm sitting on live in a virtual room, and it's the first time I'm hearing it on a live, and I have to respond to something I'm hearing for the first time. That was very embarrassing. It's very hard. I had to think off my toes and try to come up with an answer to what a reporter would ask you on live TV. So your investigator said, that's how they would put that statement. So that was problematic for me. So I asked the guy to, hey, you don't need to do any more interviews. I don't know too many investigators anyway that do as many interviews that he'd like to do. So I just wanted to make sure, hey, look, I think it's time for him to do your job as just investigator in the behind the scenes, and I would do the interviews. And it wasn't nothing hard about that, because that would keep things like that from happening. That's the only problem I was saying. The conflict part was that, and because I asked him that, I guess he wanted to do his interviews, he quit. So that's the only problem we had. Other than that, like I said, I saw him as a brother. I know he does a great job. I really have faith in his what he found for myself and my family. Information. I know his skills are very highly rated. So, I don't take away from that, but I take away from, like I said, his decision to move on based on not being able to do interviews. And that's not what I would like to see from a person who have those kind of skills. So anyway, but it didn't cause, for me, for me personally, I would just move on. I just grab my sons, get my son things, and be able to get a different investigator and just keep it pushing. So definitely, I don't have time to, babysit things like that. I have to make sure that I keep going because my efforts is to find Daniel. So that's what I did. Just kept moving. Sought another investigator and just kept moving. Investigators that don't come out in the public, that don't want to be heard and seen, and things like that. So I was fortunate to be able to find that the second time. All right. Thank you, Barry, for putting this question marks up there. And thanks for your question. Also, thanks for being the vice president. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much. Do you think public pressure would inspire Buckeye Police Department to transfer Daniel's case to another agency? I really do. You guys, like I said, I've been preaching this forever. And I asked this call to action. You guys who is listening to my voice, if you're one of those who love to write out and call and make phone calls and things like that, call the Buckeye Police Department and hey, look, tell them, hey, look, we lost trust in your you damaged my son's case. They damaged my son's case. We lost trust. The family has lost trust at all. I don't have no trust at all in this department to handle my son's case properly. I'm requesting, and they have requested them to move my son's case over to a different department. And if they refuse to do so, in my opinion, they're doing so just to cover their ass. Excuse my expression. I said that earlier this morning. I don't really like to use that terminology, but that's exactly what this department is doing. There's no interest I see into really find out what happened to my son. More interest into making their department look better, or whatever the case may be. I don't care. Like I told you guys, I don't care about a department looking better. I don't care about their feelings or they're getting butt hurt if somebody says something about them, whatever. They're grown men. They need to suck it up and be men and do their job. So that's men and women. I'm sure they have women in the department as well. Do their job. So that's all I care about. Do your job. You come to your job every morning. Man, expect you to do your job. You do your job. They don't care about your feelings. I don't feel like doing the work today. Somebody at the job said something about me and I don't feel like working. You get out of here then, So the thing is, they just need to do their job. But yes, I'm calling, call to action for anybody who's willing to write, call, whether it's the Justice Department, whatever you can, and really try to put some pressure into getting my son's case removed out of Buckeye. That's exactly what I'm doing. That's some things I'm doing as well behind the scenes, you guys. So definitely, I need all the help I can. Somebody have some advices that I can take I don't care if you're an attorney, listen as well. You have some advice, some legal advice, or whatever case may be to help me get my son's case removed out of that department. I'm willing to do that. So definitely get in contact with me. Please help find Daniel at yahoo.com for information as well. All right. Thank you so much for that question, Barry. And see, have Douglas. Thanks so much for your question, and thank you for putting that question mark there, question word there before your question. Doesn't Jeff McGrath's conclusion on the case directly conflicts with him saying the car was planted? No, not at all. And the reasons why, the reason why, a couple of things that Jeff McGrath and I did together. We interviewed the guy who found my son's vehicle, and his testimony. I still have that as well. His testimony directly put the vehicle not being there 2 to 3 days prior, right? So the vehicle wasn't there. There's a lot of people try to do everything they can to try to put Daniel's vehicles there. They don't really understand the full story. You have to ignore certain things like that. You have to ignore the fact, like I said again, that this rancher, the one that found the vehicle, testimony is the vehicle wasn't there 2 to 3 days prior. You also got to ignore the fact that Buckeye said there's Civil Air Patrol on the ground in this area and the vehicle wasn't there because they didn't find it, right? They said they had the aircraft. I was there watching the search. They had that one aircraft. They said they had 2 in their report, but they only had 1, you guys. They flew over this area with aircraft, fixed-wing aircraft, and the vehicle wasn't there. They also did Phoenix. They say Phoenix Firebird, Phoenix Police Department, with all these officers, whatever they said, came out in this area, and the vehicle wasn't there. So the vehicle wasn't there. So definitely the vehicle wasn't there. My son was not riding around the desert for 30 days until he wrecked that vehicle in that ravine. So thank you. So he was definitely didn't ride around for 30 days and then wreck his vehicle in that ravine. It just don't make sense. It defies logic. The second part is you guys got to understand the damages that's on the vehicle. He's an accident reconstructionist. There's several things he did. He looked at the damage. He assessed it. He's not like the Buckeye Police Department accident reconstructionist who never seen my son's vehicle, never examined it, never examined the clothing, never examined anything, never touched it, smelled it, tasted it, whatever the case may be. But he actually examined this vehicle. He examined the vehicle. The damage don't match the terrain. The red transfer paint, you guys remember that as well. The sunroof don't have a glass. The glass most likely came from the door of the vehicle, the door side. But the way it landed, I still have questions about that as well as he. The other part is, like I said, you guys, the 11 additional miles on the vehicle, the first initial crash. We had to examine all those things, and not only that, of the scene there, Mr. McGrath and I was there watching him do his job. He's examining. He took his vehicle, tried to get the speed, get the speed up where the airbags were deployed at the point of impact. You would never ever in that desert get that speed up coming up to that ravine and then going down the ravine. You'll never ever in a million years with that heavy vehicle, and that's an SUV. We tried it with desert vehicles, UTVs, ATVs, and we couldn't get it with a desert vehicle. It's not enough space to gain that distance, that space to get down the ravine, to get up that mileage per hour, to get it to crash at that speed. So those things are physical evidence that says the vehicle wasn't there. So he did put those science together, especially with his data and also the infotainment system that he pulled out in California, got his information from. So all those in combinations says get him the right to say he believed this is a staged event. And I believe it too. So despite of what the Buckeye Police Department may suggest, despite of anybody else, whatever to suggest, and you guys got to also remember from the suspicious nature of the vehicle that matches my son's description that was seen on Verada Way, the same area on the side of the road where my son was the first well site, not right down the street from the first well site at that, on the side of the road that the Buckeye trying to say wasn't his vehicle. That all of a sudden they won't tell me where it's at, and then 2 days later, here it is. Hey, Mr. Robinson, your vehicle, the son's vehicle showed out in the desert. So we got to look at those type things and try to start asking a bunch of questions about even those circumstantial things like that. So, all right. Also, I just want to say this real quick. Thank you, Athena, again. Thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate it. I love you for that. That's really nice for you to support what I'm doing here on this Q&A, this YouTube channel. Please help find Daniel. Thank you so much. I really love you for that. Thank you and God bless you for that. Thank you again. You guys, I really appreciate those who have been, like I said, supporting Lois Strickland. You've been here for a while from North Carolina, been really helping. Thank you also, your moderator as well. So thank you so much for moderating and helping. You guys, thanks so much. If anybody have any more questions, please feel free to do so. The question I have here is from PM Channel again. With sensitivity, I asked, with Daniel missing his right hand, wouldn't that render him endangered, in need of immediate help to fend off anyone who may harm him, who want to harm him? You know, and that's one of the things that I was discussing with the first police officer I spoke to in Buckeye Police Department. My son is not from the area. You know, he's from South Carolina, but he's been in Arizona for a while, but he's not have never been to the area. What I told this officer that night when I was asking him, pleading him to go into that desert that night with the helicopters to search for my son. And once I found out it was actually in the desert, that my son, at first when he told me about the Sun Valley Parkway, hey, I'm gonna ride up down the Sun Valley Parkway, I was very grateful for this Officer Cruz riding up down in that area. And when they put in the police report, that's exactly what we rode in that area. They didn't ride at the well site. They ride in the area of the well site, and that's off of Sun Valley Parkway. That's on Sun Valley Parkway. And he told me directly, not on what's on that report, that he's going up down Sun Valley Parkway to see if he's stuck on the side of the road. I didn't know anything about Sun Valley Parkway at the time. That's the first time I ever heard of it. And I know it's a real long road, and they call it to a road to nowhere because it's miles and miles long. But he went up and down the road to check and see if he's stuck on the side of the road. I felt very grateful. It's nighttime, but then his workers told me he's stuck out there in the desert. He was missing in the desert itself. That's when I'm like, hey, no, y'all need to pull a chopper out there. And they told me they couldn't do it to the next morning or so. So that's the reason why, like I said, yes, I put some information there. You would think that the Buckeye Police Department would have react, knowing, like you said, information like that. I don't consider Daniel handicapped. He don't consider himself handicapped. But, you know, those are some disadvantages there in considering. So, you know, the guys didn't look at it that way. Most people that don't look at Daniel as we do and he do himself, they would consider him that way. And they would have said to themselves, hey, yeah, we need to go help that young man. But they didn't show any empathy, any really real empathy towards my son. So, all right. Thank you also, Shanae Perkins, for being here. Thank you so much. What's the petition for Ms. Robinson? You know, I'm just happy to see your question. If you guys have questions, please put that question mark there first. I can find it, but thank you, Shanae, for that question. The petition for several things. The petition has been growing with my efforts to find Daniel. When I first got here, I started realizing the Buckeye Police Department wasn't doing efforts. I didn't get the helicopter searches and the agencies falling down on the search area looking for my son the way you see they do in these cases. I did not get the support of the Buckeye Police Department when I started my searches with hundreds of volunteers. They didn't put a dime into my searches out there. I had to get GoFundMe to fund the searches. So during that time, I was putting in pressure. I had the petition, and I remember it was only 5 people. I had the petition to, hey, let's put this pressure on the Buckeye Police Department to do more. They need to do more. They don't need to do search. The first thing about you guys, the first search they ever did for my son was almost 3 days after he went missing. And they say they called the Phoenix Police Department. Supposedly they came out to do a fly out there in the desert search for him. That's almost 3 days after my son was missing. The second search came almost 2 weeks later with Silver Air Patrol. Think about how far spread this is. That's not concern for my son. It's just covering their cells. It was so far away for the net search. So I've been seeing those kind of efforts that have been like, I had to beg for these efforts in a sense, and it wasn't happening. So I was asking you guys to put that pressure on that department by backing me up. We need the Buckeye Police to do more. Then I started thinking, look, start running to other families. They get the same stories like I did when I had to initially put that report in for my son. I had to wait 12 hours. I was 3 hours shy of that 12 hours. They actually literally made me hang the phone up and wait 3 hours, pacing the floor, and then call back to put a missing report before they accept my report, right? For my son being missing. That was time lost. And so I started adding the petition when I did an update to say, look, we also adding in that we need to fight against these policies. First of all, there is no policy on most of these cases. This is what police tell you because they're too lazy. They don't want to actually do the job. They want to pass the buck to somebody else. They really don't care about your family member like that. And they'll say to themselves, make an assumption like they did with Daniel. Oh, it's a grown man. He can disappear if he wants to. Or they'll think, oh, he'll come back or something. Or they'll come back, or whatever the case may be, without even hearing the story. So they come with those kind of things. So we need to stop that. The police department should not be able to do that. The third thing was that I came up with the fight to say the first 24 hours of fraud, first 24 to 40 hours is crucial. But I like to say the first hour is crucial to finding a loved one. They need to work immediately. And the only way to be able to do that, the petition from that point to say there need to be a department within the departments, especially in states like Arizona, Alaska, California, New York, Florida, some of these states where they have high missing person cases, they should be able to have a department within the department, and that department should be funded. We're talking about defunding police. Take some of that funding and have, especially these states like this, have this department that all they do is find missing people. That's all they do. They're funded for it. They're trained for it. They have the tools and everything they need for that. A family like myself should not have to be going to GoFundMe and asking people to get UTVs, ATVs out in the desert and all the stuff to try to do a search. Those things should be provided by the police departments. They should be out there doing the job. So we need to get that done. So that's where the petition grew from that point. And then it kept going on and on as I can go through every step, but it's been going on to where I'm at now with that petition. So that's what the petition is for, you guys. If you guys have been growing, and you guys have been signing it, and I really appreciate that always. Thank you so much, Barry, for putting this up as well. Like, share, subscribe, you guys, if you can. I'm still looking for your questions. If you have any questions, please ask your questions. I know some people had some this morning that I missed. I hope you have them here this afternoon. Alpheus, thank you so much for being here. I hope I say your name correct, and thank you for your question. Can we plan a rally at the Buckeye Police Department to put pressure on them? And I do have plans. I had plans like this before. I was waiting on the right time, and I don't know when that right time would be. I would consult with my my team, but it definitely, I agree with you. It's one of those things to march down on Buckeye, march down on some of these departments. I mean, because it's ridiculous. You see what's happening to some of these families. Look at the little young lady. I don't know exactly how the police department is really handling that case, but I could say for some of these other families, they go through the same thing I'm going through. So it's nothing different. And, it's a shame. So, yeah, definitely would like to, especially with Buckeye, the police department, come down on that city, plan a day, get a permit, and have a protest. That eventually that's going to happen with this department if they don't actually release my son's case. It's coming down to that point. So, working on it, and you just keep looking up for the Please Help Find Daniel .com website, and you can get to some of the information if and when I decide to do so. I definitely will have that organized, and we will do that. All right. So please, and I really love to have you out there as well. Bring everybody you can. The more people, the better. So, all right. Thank you. Also, Douglas Bolson. Thanks so much for your question and your statement. That's because that was a second crash, not the first crash. That actually put other damage on the vehicle, on the car. Yes, exactly. We believe that the vehicles crashed somewhere first, would made the airbags deployed, and then eventually made it into that ravine. It's not logical for Jeff to say he was on PCP, but also say the car was staged. He didn't say that he was on PCP. He used that as a theory. He says a possibility since Daniel smoked weed. And like I told you guys, my son is a very responsible young man. I don't see him smoking weed on a job, right? First of all, the other part is there's no marijuana seeds, no marijuana roach or whatever you call the things, anything inside that vehicle that would suggest he even smoked any marijuana. So like I said, my son is a very responsible young man. It's like a person who go home, I guess. I don't smoke marijuana, but it's legal here in Arizona. I guess a person would take it and go home and just like they have a beer or something, have a cold beer at the end of the day from work. Some people may smoke a joint or something. And but I'm not saying that's how Daniel does it, but I don't know. But I do know that he did smoke weed, or he smoked weed. But definitely laced PCP. They do have what they have dispensaries here in Arizona. So But as in, there was no evidence. So why he said it to the public is what I'm trying to say. That's a problem, and that's the reason why people have to keep bringing that up in the past, is because of his being an investigator. Some things you just keep to yourself and just do your job. You have a theory like that, check the vehicle. He had access to the vehicle. He have yet to come up one time to say, and he told me there was no drugs found in that vehicle. So he have yet to do that. So what I'm saying is he told me that it wasn't there, and so it's nothing there to say. I haven't searched the vehicle myself, but this is what he's telling me as a client. And look, there's no marijuana in the vehicle, no roaches, no butts, or whatever the case may be. It's not there, so why even make up a theory like that for something that's not there? No evidence of it. So there's no evidence of him ever smoking anything in that vehicle. So anyway, that's some of the things. You're right. It wouldn't make sense. A lot of things wouldn't make sense. All right, let's see if anybody have any more questions. I am coming down really quickly. Please, you guys, I really want to, if you ask questions that you don't have those question marks, I end up missing. I apologize, but it's easier if you guys put a question mark there, some kind of something, so I can see it as I'm coming down and start strolling. Dog Defender, thanks so much. Is there anything specific each of us can do who are out of state? The first message I sent, the highest agency, were you able to reach them about Mr. Mr. Crump, any contest? I've reached out to Mr. Crump before. I think I'm not sure this Daniel's case fits his again. I forgot the name of that organization, but like one of these nonprofits would say, fit that criteria. But yeah, I reached out to the Crump officer before. But also, yeah, anything you guys can do is always like some of the things you see on the website. If you cannot, if you're out of state, you can sign a petition. You can also, put in your skill sets by other ways to help tabs. You can do that. There's the PDF there to do the flyer distribution. If you want to print out those flyers yourself, you can also have flyers sent to you. Just all the things that you see on the policehelpfinddaniel.com. You can actually help from afar. One of the things is phone calls, definitely, like I said, to these departments. I'm definitely pushing for this department to release my son's case. My son's a resident of Tempe, Arizona. So I would love to see his case go to that department, for instance. So what I'm looking at is definitely need to put some pressure on them to release my son's case. That's Maricopa County. My son was missing in Maricopa County. The county is to succeed everything. So I would love to see the Justice Department look into the department, Buckeye Police Department. And the reasons why, you guys, there's a lot of falsifications there. That chief of police had gotten suspended before. There's a lot of corruption with one of the officers there. And then all the things that I'm telling you guys that I have found and that don't go well with the department when it deals with my son's case. Things they put in their police report. You guys know they already took that police report offline already, because some of those things as well, in my opinion, I already know some of the things there wasn't correct. So they need to look into that department, their practices, as well as how they handled my son's case. And so I'm definitely pushing for the Justice Department as well. So I'm going to every angle I can until I can get somebody to do something. So you guys, if you want to back me up on that, you can. That's like a call to arms. If you guys want to go with me when I do decide to do any type of protest or whatever the case may be from this department, then we can do that as well. But I would definitely have those dates and have that kind of thing organized on the policehelpfinddaniel.com website. Thank you, Dr. Fender. Also, Gina, thanks so much for your question. David, when was the episode of Disappeared filmed? It was filmed around, I say January, February this year. They didn't really film anything with me. They asked a lot of questions. They asked me I could get my family to speak to them, because my family didn't want to speak to anybody. So I was really surprised they was able to do an interview with them. But they did that around that time. I think they're affiliated with one of the other, I think it was Paramount Films or maybe AMC Sundance, one of them. I think they got my interview from, because I didn't actually sit down with these people and actually do an interview. So I think they took that clip and utilized what they got from something I did from another network, and then put that together when I watched that. And then also my son's mother and my son did their part of the interview, and so it had to be around that time for them as well. So, but they're in South Carolina. But it was around that time, the early part of the year, I said that way. And let's see, what's the second part of your question? You said, David, when was the episode disappeared film? And do you agree with how Dane's case was portrayed? No, I do not. I do not. And I think, I don't know if you was here this morning, Gina, but I did put out it's several things. Several things is that I couldn't get it up here today for this Q&A. Things kind of got past me really quickly. But I did want to put up Daniel's last message with me. It's like his mother, she have a voicemail. And they took Daniel's voicemail apart and take some words. I'm telling you, Daniel, he have a weird way of saying things. If you listen to his statements anytime he talk, he'll throw in something, the way he talk, he'll say something that you're like, hey, why you say that into that sentence, for instance. But they took that one thing and they broke it down to make it appear that he was really stating something, that he's having some kind of trouble. And then I think the biggest problem for me is the way he was thrown under the bus, as in to make it appear that he was very depressed or something because his house was nasty. And and I saw that disappeared where I don't know where they got those pictures from. That's definitely not Dane's apartment. None of those things belong to Dane at all. And it was very disappointing to see that network was able to take some picture of the nastiest thing they can think of, I guess. Because, for me, and the way we come from, my family, to see a garbage bag hanging on a doorknob is nasty, right? With food and stuff in it. And that was very nasty. And, a person who don't know Daniel will see that episode and say, oh, wow, his place is disgusting. He's a disgusting guy, and that's throwing him under the bus. That is not Daniel. That's not the way Daniel is. That's not his personality. That's not exactly what, I want to pull it up. I really want to pull it up, Gina, so I can share it with everybody here again, because that really bothered me the most. I'm really trying to look for it right now. And if I can find it again here, I put it up on the screen and talk about it, because like I said, that was definitely something that really, really, really bothered me the most. The other parts is, of course, I can deal with their not knowing Daniel's story. Mind you, and I'm not taking away from Daniel's mother and my oldest son, but they haven't been here. They haven't been here, and then they was able to get a network to give them an interview on facts they didn't know about, right? And one thing they were saying on that video as well, about a story about somebody seeing Dane, he's on a spiritual journey. And they said it was here in Phoenix. It's like when people hear me tell them a story about the facts that happened, because I was following leads at the time, to make a long story short. And I told my family about these leads and what this lady and the lead was saying. I still have her. I know exactly. She's a reporter in California. But anyway, it was out in California where that story come from, not here in Phoenix. And so it's things like that, little small detail that's totally wrong. This lady in Arizona, in California, was saying that she ran to a young man out on a hiking trail, making a long story, saying he was on a spiritual journey. That's where it come from. And then also, like I said, for his apartment, those things was really, really devastating to see that. So it is so much of that was really disappointing. Like I said, for them to be able to, I have it right here. I'm going to put this on the screen. I did find it, and thank you, Gina, for putting that up. For now, I'm gonna highlight you there, and I'm gonna come back to your question. But I want to put it up on the screen again, you guys. I have to go through this again like I did this morning. And so if you guys are with me on this, here I go. All right, again, this is Daniel, starting off with Daniel's his living room. There's a little television stuff, right? Again, okay, I'm just going through it really quickly because we're running for pressing for time here. But this is Jeff McGrath's bag or whatever, his equipment. You probably see this little area I got swirling around here. That's his bag on the ground. Everything else, Daniel, his table, everything don't look disarray. Of course, he have papers on the table. You have a little blanket on his chair. But this is exactly, nobody touched anything. Nobody moved anything. Nobody cleaned the house up. This is where Dane's apartment was when we accessed his apartment. When I say we, that's before the family came. When I was able to get in there, my daughter was able to help me get in there as well. But this is when the investigator, we didn't touch anything, nobody moved anything, and we was able to have Jeff McGrath as well. Some of these pictures, a couple of these pictures, it's more pictures, way more pictures than this, you guys. It just some of things I just can't do it because of investigative reasons. But I can give you just show you how Daniel's apartment was the day he left to go to work that morning. He left it just like this. As you can see, you don't see no trash on the floor, no nads, no paper, no food trays or whatever the case that show portrayed, right? From the other angle there, you can see how clean, well clean he keep his living room area. Of course, he's a young man. My team kind of laughed at me today when I say he's not a woman. They have drapes and with flowers and stuff. That's true. He's a guy. He's a young man. I would say a bachelor, young man who's just a guy, right? So this is what a guy's apartment looked like, you know. And you guys, like I said, but he kept it clean, right? This is not a scene of a person who's going through some mental crisis, as his mother and his older brother would say, right? The other part here, and I'm gonna print right here. You guys can see my arrow moving over here by this water. There's 3 cases of water there. His sister, that night before he went missing, they went to go get him some water, and they bought 5 cases of water. 2 of those cases, you don't see it here. The 2 cases that's missing that would have been up here is in his vehicle to this date. That's the water we were talking about. There's untouched cases of water that's in his vehicle, right? So he has been responsible. He made sure he has water. So when you come out the door, he got these cases taken to his vehicle because he know he need water to drink. The other thing, you guys, he have air freshener here. You keep his apartment smelling good. You walk in there, it smells pretty great. His trash can is not turning over with food on the floor and things like that. They suggested in that article that you guys seen on Disappeared. That is not Daniel. You see nothing on his counter. And I'm telling you, this is untouched. This is the kitchen that they tried to say. You can see the trash again, closed, lid, no food. When I open that trash, it's mostly paper. You may have a little something that he threw away, but it wasn't like rotten food and all kind of stuff that was suggesting. This is a one case of water that's been half empty. You could say he'll probably have a few bottles left. He had it sitting there, a little piece of paper. But this is what I want to point out here. You see this arrow here? They say, oh, dishes all in the sink. No, these are clean dishes sitting in his dish rack that he actually washed. He just must have washed dishes that night before he left out that morning. He must have been drinking water because this is a water. It got a little bit of water left in the pitcher, but it's a filtration type water cooler pitcher or whatever. He put in the sink. I guess it filters water out and he drink it, right? I don't use them, but that's what he uses. This is a cutting board that's down, like I said, but in that sink is only 1 plate, and the plate don't even have food on it. So where they portrayed him as this house is disarrayed, he's nasty and disgusting, it really hurt my feelings. Dan kept the stove clean. You don't see a bunch of stuff. I don't know if he don't cook or not, but his stove is clean. And also, I want to go past his refrigerator because I started to tell you guys about that. But this is the thing I was saying as well. You guys hear me talking about his rock collection. He collect rocks. He's a geologist. This is what he does. He got his little rock collection up there, a bunch of little junk there. I don't know what all that for. His games and whatever that is down there. But it's a rock collection. That's his rock collection. He likes his rock collection. So that is Daniel. He's a geologist. That's what he's supposed to do. Now, the other part is, this is his little, he called it his little office. He got, he liked to, he got this computer here. He just built this computer like about, I want to say like, he built that computer probably, got done with it almost 2 days before he went missing. Me and I had a conversation about it. He wanted to make sure, he's been building it for a while. Of course, he get those information from me because, my computer's major, and wanted to make sure that he's putting the right RAM sticks in and things like that for his computer because he wants something powerful where he can do his gaming because that's why the controllers are here up here, as well as do his work. So he built this computer himself, very proud of it. He's really love his computer. And so that's one of the things as well. So that's there. It's a separate room. That's the next room. That's his little computer area. The other thing is, this is the part where the family could say a little something in a sense in this room, right? You look in his bathroom, toilet clean, tub clean, the toilet clean, nothing on the floor except for these dustpans and stuff he got there. He was actually, I think, in the process of cleaning. And because you go this way, this direction, just the same broom that's there, as well as the vacuum cleaner that's leading to around the corner of his room. So Daniel had things in the basket. You can look at it from a different angle as well, coming back the other direction. But in his room, that's the messiest part that we was going through. Mr. McGrath and I went through. It gave we two things we looked at. This is out of nobody's gonna walk around their stuff like that in the middle of the floor. A couple things we looked at, and he put it to my. I look at it as a parent, like, oh my God, he got all this trash, and I can see his mother come from, like, oh, there's trash here on the floor, and this is disgusting, because we know how we love our children when they're kids to keep their room. We probably went back to parent mode, because I sure did. I was embarrassed. Oh my God, Mr. McGrath, I'm sorry about that. I'm apologizing for Daniel. No, him and the other investigator was looking at something totally different. He explained to me the way this was bent out of shape and this was damaged down here, because as it appeared to the investigator standpoint, somebody was looking for something. They put out the drawers here. This stuff that was up there was knocked down. The stuff that was on here was knocked down as well, cuts or whatever the case may be. And this file cabinet was turned a different direction. I cannot show you some things that's back behind there in the closet, things like that, but there are some things removed to make it appear that it appears that somebody was looking for something. So now we're trying to figure out if somebody came in his apartment after the fact he went missing, who happened to have a key to his apartment at the time and had easy access, because there was no signs of break-in. So we checked the windows, we checked this. That's what caused us to check all kinds of things, what he did, especially from investigator standpoint, and check these things because of what we've seen here. Now, as a reflection of Daniel being nasty, no. From the other direction, definitely he was cleaning up. He had the brooms there to clean up. He had the vacuum cleaner, like I said, to vacuum the floor. But everything is disarray. We don't know, like I said, from what reasons it was disarray, but because of the way his file cabinet was and some things that I couldn't show you from this closet would suggest that somebody was looking for something, whether he was looking for something or somebody else was looking for something. So I was really offended, you guys, when I see his mother and his older brother on the disappeared and utilize those things I just showed you to say that Daniel somehow was going through some mental harm or whatever. Now, I'm not the one to say that Daniel wasn't down for what he may, saying as a young man who had to work on Instacart, right? He had to do Instacart. He's very a proud young man. He's very sure of himself. And one thing I know, he modeled himself after me a lot, right? I mean, I have extensive conversations. I told you guys we talked for 2 hours at a time. I missed those conversations, but my son, he had pride. Hey, look, Dad, I'm a man. I can handle my business. He rarely ever asked me for anything. As an adult, he asked me for a lot when he was in college. But as a grown man doing his own thing, he rarely asked me. I think he wanted to show me that he can handle himself, and he was doing very well. But he must have came in some trouble. I did know that after the fact. When he talked to me, when I last talked to him, he told me his work when he met the young lady. He mentioned the word Instacart. Oh, I met her through an Instacart. That's when I first found out he was doing Instacart. But the thing was, his siblings and his mother always knew he was doing Instacart, and so for those reasons, he was keeping that from me, is because it's a pride thing, a manhood type thing. He want to come to his dad and say, "Hey, I need money. This thing's not working out," or whatever the case may be. So I do kind of see it that way, but I don't see it as things not working out that I need to go off myself, or I'm feeling so down in life that I'm going to disappear or something. I don't know. No, I really, really highly don't believe that at all. So those are some of the things, you guys, I want to show that to you all. And Gina, again, put your question back up there again. That's what I'm saying. Yes, I was very disappointed. I do not agree with the trade. I did direct my team to not put it on anything Disappear episode, and I'm not taking away from Disappear. I thank God for them giving Daniel's story some light, but I would like to have seen some of that stuff before they aired that, but definitely, saying so. But definitely, yeah, I do not have any. I really don't like what I've seen. All right, I do have a question here for Athena. Thank you, Athena, for your question. Has the state attorney general been of any assistance? I went out to the state attorney general office, And I promise you, Athena, everything, no matter what I said to this agent at the Attorney General's office, he says, we don't do that. Oh, do y'all, basically the police, oh, we don't do that. Y'all do whatever the case may be. I asked them a lot of things. I sat there with this agent for probably, I want to say almost an hour and a half, 2 hours. And I'm trying to change tactics to find some way they can assist me into my efforts of finding Daniel. And everything I had came up with, he said they don't do. We do only thing we do is, I said, then I got a point, like, I was like, well, damn, what do you do? You know, it's almost like people, like you hire a maid and they say, I don't wash windows or something, you know. I mean, like, what do you do? You know, and so he was pretty much saying, oh, we just do things like money laundering and, you know, coming up some federal stuff that totally against, not even near missing person cases to anything else other than some blue collar crime type stuff. That's the way he betrayed it to me. But you know, the good part is, you know, you make a paper trail. I got his name, I got his you know, who he is as agent, and I have a paper trail saying that I actually came there and I actually asked those questions as well. So I'm just keeping a paper trail. You always keep a paper trail. So every time you approach law enforcement, only thing you're really doing is creating a paper trail. So you always keep a paper trail. So if they ever come back again, they cannot say this and that didn't happen. So I always make sure I keep paper trails. All right, here we go, Dog Defender. Question. Can you please give the names of Maricopa County or whichever persons you like, you think will be receptive to some serious callers? I'm ready to spend however many hours calling whomever. And I really appreciate that. But, you know, I don't have specific names, but I do know there's only one sheriff in Maricopa County, but I don't have specific names of persons you actually can call. My team and I, they've been doing a lot of calling. I have some team members as well. I'm doing a lot of calling with Maricopa County to get some things moving. So if I get those information, I definitely could share it with you, Dog Defender, but I don't have any specific person's name that you can call. But thank you, for your efforts. I know that, and I really believe it when you said. I really believe it because I know what happens in the background as well. I really believe when you said you actually mean it. So I really appreciate you for all your efforts and your love and your help. Black Lives Matter, thank you so much for being here as well. Mr. Robinson, do you think that someone tampered with Daniel's vehicle to cause it to crash? There's a possibility of anything. Some things that have yet to be discovered because there's no forensic work done. My investigator did his investigation based on his skills of an accident reconstructionist. He don't have a lab to do forensic work and things like that. And he's only limited to certain things at the time. So definitely there's some things that still need to be discovered about that vehicle. I still am in possession of those things. I'm still in possession of Daniel's things that need to be forensically done, meaning the clothes and some of the other items, the personal effects. But as in electronics, I do have that sent off already. Everything's electronic wise being handled right now. I'm still waiting. I will be waiting on answers. It's just been done, so it's gonna be a while before I get answers back from that. But definitely have answers going to be coming back from the forensics part of the electronics. There could have been jealous coworkers seeing a young black successful young man. I had this experience, and that is true. That's one thing that been coming to me when I first got here to Arizona. As you guys know, my son, I wish I could put that on screen as well. My son did a Black Lives Matter protest. That was with the George Floyd situation. And he's very proud. I never forget. They had a protest here. He said, Dad, I'm going out to this protest downtown here in Phoenix. And man, I'll be honest with you, I wanted to be there too. But I was in South Carolina. He called me from time to time from the protest. I could hear people in the background. Very proud. He actually did a interview with the local news channel here. And those things came up to me when I got here. The news channels, hey, we did an interview with your son before. You know, we did an interview with Daniel. I would like to get an interview from that channel, but we did an interview with Daniel, and I've seen the pictures of the interview. And also, I do know that he been a part of that protest. He had to sign up there because my son, he believed in fighting against injustice, and he's going to fight against police brutality. He knows my story. He knows the scars that I carry physically on my body from police brutality. So police brutality is something that don't need to be tolerated in this country. And definitely Daniel is the person who would stand up to what is right. So the thing is, the problem coming with Black Lives Matter is that the problem is one thing I learned from the Black community here as well, the leaders here, is that there was some things that the Justice Department had to come down to the Phoenix Police Department because they was here in Arizona charging Black Lives Matter protesters as gang members and all kind of stuff, giving these people police records or whatever the case may be, arresting them and charging them bogus charges, all kind of stuff, hateful stuff, right? And even intimidations coming up to their houses. Some that live in Buckeye, as a Black family live in Buckeye, Phoenix Police Department came up there to intimidate. So if some of that stuff was going on, and they thought that, hey, look, Daniel could be a victim of retaliation. And so I did definitely try to look into that. That kind of died off really quickly, but that's something I have never forgotten in the back of my head. Is always there of retaliations from a police department. So definitely would not rule that out as well. I don't rule nothing out. I don't put nothing past anybody or anything. So those type things are always in the back of my mind to look into. He is a young, successful Black young man, very intelligent, highly intelligent young Black man, a scientist. So got a nice vehicle. The case anybody can be jealous of that. Who knows? I don't know. That's another theory, a hypothetical. But I'm saying, you guys, I never do throw anything out, any possibility out. My son is missing. As long as he's missing, everything's on the table for me. You know what I'm saying? That to look into. So definitely look into that as well. Black Lives Matter. Thanks so much for your question. Really appreciate you coming out to the Q&A. All right, Athena, thanks so much for your question, your statement. Have your attorney send a lawyer letter demanding changes and retractions? No, not that, not yet, not yet. So no, she have not. But yeah, definitely want to see about that as well. I just need to know the angles there as well. I don't know if that's something that actually worked that way or not, but yes, definitely would need to be looking into that as well, attorney wise. All right, I do have a question from Gina. Oh, I didn't have a question from Gina, but thank you, Gina, again. I really appreciate it. You said thank you, David. I was on this morning Q&A, and after watching the episode of Disappear, I was a bit confused, and it will be confused. Like I said, it was a lot of things he was thrown under the bus. There's a lot of things that was said based on no facts. And I'd like to say again, I'm gonna go back to that. I do not take nothing away from his mother and his older brother. But they're not here on the ground. They don't know what's going on here in Arizona. My son came out, and his mother came out here to Arizona once. I flew them out here to do a family press conference. They did a family press conference as well as some news interviews that we're doing at the time. And right at that time, the pictures I just showed you guys, my investigator just finished his assessment. Buckeye already came in before to take the pictures, but he did his assessment of the department. He told me there was nothing else, he needed. And that's when I told why they was there. The family was there. Hey, look, y'all help me pack this. It was hard trying to pack the apartment up. Then they later, the couple days they was there, they said they could go ahead and complete the apartment for me. And they took everything they wanted from Daniel's apartment and went back to South Carolina. Those guys, they haven't been back here since. Only one person here, family-wise, is my daughter, who lives out here in Arizona as well. But no, they're not here. So I guess, like I said, sometimes people, his family, of course, they love Daniel and they're trying their best to help. But those things they hear from me, I have to relay some information to them as well, family-wise. And I think they just got some of those information mixed up. And it is unfortunate that whole episode, like it would set back a whole year of knowing about what this whole case of Daniel. And it just kind of adds some, like you said, confusion like you have there to this case, which, like I said, don't have any merit. That's what I'm saying. The things they were saying don't have any merit. And it's very disappointing. Not for them not, and I get it, the emotional side of things. The mother, she's very emotional side. She's hurt. Her son is missing. But the emotional side of things can cloud your judgment in a way. And some of the things just don't make sense to be even do. One of the things I think is a family sometimes at the beginning to say, hey, maybe a police officer feels more sorry if they felt this way. No, From what I learned from the police department that I had to deal with, Buckeye Police Department for certain, is that they went that angle to try to paint Daniel off as having some mental crisis or something, and they still didn't label him as an endangered person. You know, so that angle would not help at all. Especially when it's not based on facts. So that's the thing I just had to say about that. But yeah, it's very confusing, Gina. That's confusing to me as well. It was very painful. I had to deal with that after watching the episode. All right. Here we go. A question here. Thank you, Ellen. Thanks so much. If someone had his keys, they wouldn't have to break in. That is correct. If his car in a ravine was staged, a person or persons would have had his keys. Well, he had a push start vehicle, and I believe it was a push start vehicle. Yes, push start vehicle. And so, yeah, the person would have to have the keys with them to be able to utilize that push start. But definitely, yes, the department, that's what me and the investigator were looking at the time. It didn't go anywhere. Like I said, he ended up leaving, had to get a different investigator. And some of those things that we're looking to got stalled. But one of the things were the possibility. And that's why I say, you guys, there's nobody, we're going by one. You got to think about this, you guys. This whole narrative about my son being missing came from one person. And that's the man at the well site, Ken. Said he just waved off and he just drove off and never be seen again. There's nobody to say that Dane didn't make it back to his apartment in Tempe, Arizona, right? Nobody say that. Nobody knows that. We have no camera footage that said he didn't, right? We don't know what happened from that point. We don't know if he even made it to the well site. We don't know if that story is true, right? We have nothing other than if somebody say this is what happened, and then they just went with it. No verification of the story, no matching things up with his cell phone pings. He got a cell phone too. Never sell his cell phone ping to see if he was even there, where he was moving around at, or what he was talking about on the cell phone. None of that kind of stuff on his phone record. How many times he calling Daniel, call somebody else or whoever he's dealing with? None of that. No kind of scrutiny of the person who just say this was happened and that's the end of the story, and we going by that narrative. But who's to say, because of the things we saw in his apartment, that would suggest somebody was looking for something, that nothing didn't happen in that apartment. That's when I say that's when the Tempe Police Department do have to come in there and look into that, bear some responsibility with that, and say, hey, look, I'm gonna look into this apartment, because I did, guys, when I first came out to Arizona, the first person I reached out to was to the Tempe Police Department. My son is a resident of Tempe, right? And like I said, nobody said he came back home, but at the time, only information I had was that he was missing from somewhere near some White Tank Mountains. And I asked that police department, the first thing I called them about, because he wouldn't answer his phone, his sister went to the house, his vehicle wasn't there. And so we thinking somebody could have stolen the vehicle, whatever the case may be. We asked the Tempe police to go in there to try to do a welfare check. They told me they couldn't do it. They sent me to a Buckeye, because they said, oh, he went missing in near the, when I say White Tank Mountain, they said it was in Buckeye. That's when I had to do all that waiting and whatever, put that police report in. And then I still talked to Buckeye and say, well, can y'all go do a welfare check? I said, well, we can't. And then they say, well, we'll call Tempe to go do this welfare check. And they did that. They called Tempe Police Department. And that's when Tempe Police Department decided to go out, and they didn't do a welfare check. They did what they say, a drive-by. They came to the apartment. They checked the door or something, looked, or whatever the case may be, from the exterior. Nobody went inside that apartment to see if my son was in there, harm, hurt, or whatever the case may be. His car missing. Nobody heard from him for an entire day. Nobody went in there to see if any foul play happened, right? The time that the pictures you guys seen from the Buckeye Police, nobody went in that apartment for over, I want to say 30 days. When we finally was able to go, they asked me first, hey, you think the apartment complex will let you in there? I tried that. They would not let me in, let the family in for legal purposes, because it's Daniel's apartment. Then they say, well, maybe we don't have a warrant, but maybe if we ask as a police officer, they might let us in. Sure and behold, we both asked. I asked them with the Buckeye Police Department, and the apartment complex talked to the attorneys, and they said, yeah, we can let you in, but we have to walk in there with you. But they told me I could not walk in there as a family, but the police department can walk in there just to walk, don't touch nothing. You can take a picture and then leave. And so that's what they did. Walk in, look around, walked out, and the landlords locked the door back up. So again, yeah, somebody could have had keys to get in there. At the time, we did not as a family, but we later was able to get access to Dane's apartment. All right. Also, dog defender, not question. Okay, but have to tell you, I have two grown sons. This is not a messy apartment. I've also been in a home that has been ransacked. That bedroom looked ransacked. Do not be embarrassed, suspect. And that's what I'm saying. Some of these things that my investigator looked at as well. And like I said, for me as a parent, I know how Daniel keep his place as well. Just like his sister, his mom, and his brother said, his place pretty clean and neat, right? And so when I saw it, when I first saw it, I was just embarrassed as a father because you know, um, me and my brain would say, "Oh man, he kept his place nasty," and here it is. We have company over the house or something. So Mr. McGrath was like company saying. I even said that to the Buckeye Police Department when he showed me the pictures, and I said, "Oh man," he said, "No," he said he's saying the same thing like you would say, "Don't fit." No, that's not made. Just like he been a little, but that's not a like Rams like you said, no, nothing nasty or whatever. Yeah, but to me it was as a parent from a parent's point of view. But other than that, I would never throw him on the bus and say somehow it gives a portrayal for that network to be able to put that kind of picture up where he was just really disgusting. And it shows how horrible his mindset was, that he was just nasty. He would not take the trash out. He would not wash his dishes. That was way beyond. That was way to the left field, and it was very hurtful to even see that. But anyway, thank you, Athena, again for your super chat. That's really nice. I really appreciate that. Um, that really appreciate you doing that super chat again. You're really kind, and I really appreciate all that love that you're sending. Put a smile and a heart to my love to my face, or smile to my face, I would say, and a heartfelt thing. I really appreciate you so much for that. Thank you so much. I'm still looking at the other one that you have there as well. So I really appreciate you. Thank you. God bless you for that. Again, you guys, I'm coming to the end of this Q&A. I do realize I'm at the 2-hour mark, but I did thank you guys for coming in here with your questions, your love, support, following this channel, hitting that like, share, and subscribe button to help it grow, get the other algorithms going. I do have one last question, but thank you so much, you guys. I really appreciate you being here. The last question, this is the last question, you guys. According to the police report, when Daniel was at the first well site and took his pictures, they were recorded with Google Geo Maps. So could there be any other locations on his Google account? And I tried that, Rain, and I'm telling you the biggest part about it. And I'm saying you got to think about all of this, you guys, why they would not call it a criminal case. They do everything to not call it. Like I told you guys earlier, I told this other police department this. It appears to me the Buckeye Police Department been doing everything for me not to find Daniel instead of helping me find Daniel, right? And one of the things that's clue to me is if this some kind you find things that could suggest a crime, they have to make this a criminal case. And if they have to make this a criminal case, that means they have to spend money. They have to do whatever they have to do to find my son, right? But to not do anything by law, they don't have to do anything if he's just a missing person. So long as they can keep him just a missing person, they don't really technically have to do anything, right? So, Rain, ask your question about that, about these Google Maps and things like that. All that stuff in his phone. That thing, they gave me that phone from the Buckeye Police Department. Gave me that phone back after they cloned it and took everything they want off of it. It was wiped. The Google history is wiped. Whenever I say clone, they're supposed to just only mirror that phone. Whatever's on the phone, they're supposed to mirror so they can look through it themselves. It was wiped. The memory card was missing that he just got from me a few months before. That was missing. His Google history is missing. The Google Maps, all that stuff is missing. His location, everything, even down to an app, stopped on June on the date that he went missing. So those things have been wiped, and to them, that's no sign of foul play. Nothing strange about that. The information about the young lady wiped from the phone. Nothing strange about that. So those things are some of the things that I had to as well. Reason why I say again, you guys, my son's case needs to be moved to a different location, and I'm trying to do everything I can to make that happen. So thank you again for that. And thank you guys again. Thank you so much for your questions. You guys have getting a lot of questions, and I really appreciate it. I don't get a lot of questions all the time, but you know what? Thank you so much. All right. So anyway, thanks so much. You guys have more questions. I'm sorry. That was my last question. I was trying to look down. I'm reading some of these things. And I want to say, yes, you can. Be like that. You said, can we share videos on social media so we can get? Yes, you can. I really appreciate that. You can. I really appreciate it if you can. Anything you guys can do to help this channel grow or help get Daniel's story out, because that's what this channel is about. If it grows, it get his story out a lot farther, and also it helps with these other families. I really am wanting to, any family, again, if you guys we're having a loved one that's missing and you want to share that story, please hit us on please help find Daniel at yahoo.com and do put that request in. I would like to have you on to be able to talk about this your loved one. I don't have the largest platform in the world, but I have something, and I want to be able to help you guys, get this story out there. So by all means, it'd be my pleasure to do so. I know the pain that you're going through as well with my family. And I want to say that at the end of this, I'm not saying anything today to try to make Daniel's mother look bad or his oldest brother. I just want to tell you, I know for a fact they love Daniel. They would do anything for him, and that's no doubt about that. I'm just saying, you guys, sometimes when you get your feelings involved and your emotions involved, and you're not on the ground to actually hear and see what's going on, they don't ask. They don't even ask. I try to give them the information. They don't ask. So the thing is, they can get things mixed up, and they only saying things from their emotional side instead of really understanding the full depth of what's going on. So I don't take that away from them. They really tried. They really tried to do a type of interview or whatever. But it just threw Daniel under the bus. It sets back a lot of things that would cause inaction. It gives people opportunity to say they won't do anything for Daniel. So much as I've been fighting here in Arizona, just want to see some things get like Gina was saying here, just throw people off and confuse people, things that don't even make sense. So anyway, love you guys. Thanks so much for spending your time with me this evening on this Q&A. Again, I'm David Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel Robinson. I want to thank everybody for coming in, showing your love, support, and I hope I get to see you next week. I will try to put some more videos up and things like that, much as possible. But thank you so much, you guys, and keep supporting. I need all your support. I truly need your support. So any way you support, everything you can support me on is on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. Just please, I just need your continued support. I need your continued prayers as well. So this whole prayer and fast for Daniel is not over. You guys can always pray for my family, pray for me, and for our strength, and to keep going. So, all right, take care. Talk to y'all next time.